About the power of transformation. I want us to focus on the will of God. So Romans chapter 12 and verse 3, here's what it says. Verse 2, excuse me. And do not be conformed to this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind, that you may prove what is the good and acceptable and perfect will of God. Here we see the will of God is described with three adjectives. It's good, and it's acceptable or well-pleasing, and it is a perfect plan that God has for you. It is the will of God. It's not that you go from like, I'm going to check off the block and go to the good will, and if I keep checking off the religious blocks, then I'll go to the well-pleasing, acceptable. If I keep checking off the blocks, and eventually I'll go to the perfect will of God. Not like that at all. What it is when you get in the will of God, he describes it as it's a good thing. It's a well-pleasing and acceptable thing, and it's a perfect plan that God has for your life. It is the will of God, and I believe you're interested in the will of God because that's the reason why you're here today. The word will is an old Elizabethan English word that means desire. So we could say, when we are not conformed to this world, but we're transformed by the renewing of our mind, then we prove and we begin to live out the good and acceptable and perfect desire that God has for our life. God desires for you to live a life that is close to Him. And so that takes place as we renew our mind with the Word of God.